Hello and welcome to FusionQA, episode number 9 of using Selenium with Ruby. In today's episode, we will learn how to interact with a drop-down list or a select list using Selenium and Ruby. So let's go ahead and get started. I have my IRB session loaded here already, my interactive Ruby session. So I'm going to first launch our Chrome browser. All right, now let's go to our demo page for today's example. So I have here just a basic page with a drop-down list, a select list, and it has two options, option 1 and option 2. So the first thing I want to do is I want to find this drop-down list or select list. So let's inspect this drop-down list. So when we inspect this drop-down list, we see it says right here it's a select element, right, with the ID of dropdown. So we'll do something like this to go ahead and locate or find that list. So what we've done here is we said, driver, which is our Selenium-Webdriver. That's what we set it to in the beginning. Driver equals Selenium-Webdriver for Chrome. That's the whole instance we have here, the browser. So we said driver and then did the .find element. And then we said we want to find it by the ID, and we said the ID was dropdown, right? So we specified dropdown here, and we stored all of this into a variable called dropdown. And so it stored, Selenium-Webdriver stored this select list or this dropdown list into this dropdown variable, and we have it right here. So now that we've found or located this drop-down list, the next thing we want to do is we want to let Selenium-Webdriver know that this element that we found on the page is actually a select list, right? So what we're going to do is something like this. So what we're doing here is we're letting Selenium-Webdriver know that this drop-down, right, that this drop-down is a select list, so that the select methods will be available to us, right? And we're using a built-in helper function of Selenium called select, right? See, we're right here. We said select.new. So we're saying that this drop-down element is a select list. So now let's go ahead and try to select some options from the actual select list. And how we'll do that is we'll reference, and by the way, we stored that entire select list into this select list variable. We'll call that select list right here. Okay, so what we did here was we called that select list that variable that we made, select list, and we said select by, right? This is a select method that Selenium-Webdriver provides to us, right? And we want to select it by the text. And what do we want to select? We want to select option number 1. Okay, so when we hit enter here in the console, notice in the page here, this drop down will automatically select option 1. There we have it. So this was selected. Option 1 was selected here. And now let's say if we want to select the other option, option 2, it's simple as just changing the text. And if I do option 2, you'll notice this changes to option 2. There you go. Now, let's say we want to retrieve the text of whatever we selected. I want to verify, or I want to find out what the text is actually that I selected in that select list. So what we can do here is we can again call that variable select list that we made and do select list dot another method that's provided to us via Selenium-Webdriver for the select list is selected options, right? Selected options. It's basically saying, what are my selected options? Okay, so what I've done here is this, when I do selected options and then I put the 0 in the brackets, this is going to return basically an array of elements to us. And in this case, it's just going to return one element, right? Which is index of array, index of 0, I'm sorry, which is the first element in what we're in that list. And then we do a dot text. So we're calling that this dot text method here to find out what's the text of the item that's been selected. So it says here that the text of the option that we selected is option 2, which is correct. Now, if I were to do something, if I were to do option 1, right, if I select option 1, for example, now I've selected option 1 here, right, in the drop down. And now if I want to select the list or the text on that, it's the same thing, you know. I want to find out what the text on this one now is. And it says option 1. That wraps up this episode. I hope it was of benefit. If you have any suggestions or questions, please leave a comment below or email me at farooq@fusionqa.net. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Connect with us on social media. The show notes and other details are in the description. Thanks for watching.